state lines. Even if you thought I'd run. Watch me, 30 years in my Penn Jersey girl with perfect plans. Garden raising my daughter, healing cats with gentle hands. Astrology blog at midnight, regulate into the breeze. Smashers both with honest, so the world would let me breathe. Anytime my name on a secret list, paid strangers to make me bleed. So I packed up everything I loved and drove south to be free. But freedom wasn't far enough. Now I'm alternative, setting fires, colors, get clean and talking. Got every other day I lost the Kentucky line. Drones and lost that secretaries and I can't forget because on my knee they're trying to steal my land. But this song's rooted deep in me. From an old man to this land, dead like a child to bury me. Baby, watch me rise, watch me cry. Watch me cry. Black helicopters buzzing, low surveys I never hired. Fake lions on my title, threats in the mail, just walk away. Retire, but every kidnapped bottle feed, every roll point I sow is another middle finger to the cowards hiding in the shadows. I will love on YouTube every night, but it's all they won't show. This farm is my fortress, my proof, my microphone. You double down in Kentucky, thought the country would swallow me whole. Jokes on you, I'm louder than ever, and I'm never letting go. Turning hearts, steady freeze, counter rescue, bleeding for me. Kentucky air, turn the warm 10 degrees. Forest streets in the corners, poison in my fields at night, but I'm still screaming truth beneath these Appalachian lights. You are my heart. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Night Live stream. Hello, con artist, user, Amy, welcome. I've got a bunch of little ants crossing my laptop. The criminals, they stuck ants all over. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Joe is our moderator. Hi, Julius. Welcome. Another Saturday. It's March 21 already. Hi, River Bluff. Welcome. Oh, well, we'll need an update on your job. People were asking about you last week. It was warm here today. It was like 77 degrees. Oh, good. Well, you know, you've got to put in the hours in the beginning. Or at least that's the way it was back in the day. I mean, now it's like you put in the extra hours and you get gang stalked. Yeah, there's so many jealous people out there, right? Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody had a good week. Yes, it's been a busy week. You know, we've got the spring equinox, you know, and now the moon is increasing in light. So we've got a sliver, a crescent moon, which means that they're going to be busy. There's going to be lighter outside soon. All the animals are getting active. Like I've got a bunch of raccoons on the porch fighting over the apple that I left for them. Yes, I've heard about the high fuel prices. Let's see, your stalkers get to sit and watch me plug away on Excel for 12 hours a day. Listen, if you have to do it, you might as well get paid for it, right? You've got an audience now. Rhubarb is starting to pop up. What time zone are you? Nothing's popping up around here except a little bit of grass. I mean, it was actually really cold last week. The heat was on, and now it's in the 70s. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in, guys. Let's see. I don't know if predators even did hibernation this winter. It wasn't even that bad around here. New Mexico will be in drought and fire season. Oh, that's not good. Northern Illinois, right next to, yes, yes. Good evening. Hi, Sue. Welcome. It takes a couple of minutes for the notifications to go out. People to get the alert. Let's see, $12.30 US for, wow, you from New Zealand to US, it's $12.30. Oh my goodness. People are complaining at like a little over $6. I remember when I was a kiddo and my father would take us on the weekends. And there was a time, I guess it was back in the 60s, 60s to 70s, where there were really long gas lines. Like we would literally be waiting such a long time for gas. And the same thing after Hurricane Sandy, it was really bad. Like I waited online for about an hour to get my car filled up. It's rising daily, yes. Yeah, it was the 70s, right? I don't remember what it cost. I just remember having to wait on those long lines with my father. Hi, Jackie. Welcome. Unfortunately, I don't drive much. I should say I haven't driven in more than a year. And if I do have to drive, it's only about 6 miles into town and then 6 miles back. So, yes, yes. I mean, literally, like if the gas situation got really bad, when I lived in New Jersey, I could pretty much walk anywhere. Here, there's not many places you can walk around here that won't take a really long time. You can recap as a kid gas being 99 cents. 99 cents. My goodness. I don't think I remember it being 99 cents. I don't remember. I don't remember what it cost. I just remember waiting on those long lines and my father saying that there is no gas shortage. And then my neighbor in New Jersey confirmed the same thing because he actually worked for. Oh, my voice is fading in and out. That's not good. I hope it's well. Is anybody else having a hard time hearing me? But I remember my neighbor who lived across the street from me in New Jersey. He once worked for like a major gas company, and he confided that there's no gas shortage in the United States. We've got plenty. So my father said it. He said it. So it must be true. you know, anything that you don't hear on the news and you hear firsthand is likely the truth, right? 6 months ago in Iraq, your friend said it was 9 cents a liter. And they were moaning, oh my goodness, the normal price was 4 cents a liter. Yeah, that's a good idea, Joe. You could have like a little buffering going on. Yeah, sometimes it's on your end, sometimes it's on my end, sometimes it's YouTube. Yeah, I had to restart my laptop shortly before this, so it should be okay. So we had something really weird happen. Joy Debbie, who's been providing testimony, she provided like three testimonies, and then this last fourth testimony. about her 1994 Phrogging experience where somebody was living in, her attic crawl space. I received an email from her that, and her email was probably hacked, telling me that it wasn't her testimony, that she found it on the internet. So when I changed the title, she emailed me. She says, "Why did you change the title?" I said, "Because you told me that it wasn't your personal story, that you found it on the internet." She says, "No, I didn't." And I have the emails, and she says it must be, there's somebody that's hacking her account that's pretending to be her. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. Does anyone remember the girl Nine Nanya from YouTube? She was targeted individual, and she just vanished. Um, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know. And the thing with targeted people is sometimes they'll have an account on TikTok or YouTube and they'll stop posting, but it doesn't mean that they're not okay. Yeah, TIs just stop posting. They just disappear on YouTube. Well, it happened with the gentleman Cliff FEW. Somebody contacted me and says, "Is he okay? I haven't seen him post." So I went to his YouTube channel and I saw also he had not posted. So I left him a message and he responded back that he's fine. He just hasn't been posting. So that's what happens sometimes. But I did receive some bad news a week ago. I still haven't completely confirmed it yet. So I didn't want to mention it, but I haven't heard from her. I did contact Derek Robinson and I asked him if he'd heard about this, and he says, yes, we just received the news and we don't have a lot of information yet that a journalist, she was a very active journalist in the activist post, Janet Phelan, may have passed away. So one person said that two people say that she has, and then one person says that she hasn't. So I didn't want to mention anything, but in case anybody has any information on Janet Phelan, let me know. I believe she was in Mexico. Let's see, just like a girl from Athena from New York, she disappeared too. She was a targeted individual. Yes, TI's just stopped posting. Well, I think it's for a few reasons. Sometimes people lack um the perseverance. Sometimes they have too many other things going on. Sometimes they lose internet connection. They don't want to pay for it on their phone. And if they need it, they'll go to the a library or whatever. Some people just give up on posting, like it's not getting anywhere. Hi, Lemos, welcome. Hi, Joshua, welcome. Remember to hit the thumb up when you come in. Yeah, there are a lot of targeted people that start YouTube channels or Facebook and then stop posting. Well, that's also a good point, Joshua. Maybe some get. Oh, she had a large channel. Nine Nania had a large channel. Some people get censored. They stop posting. They may disappear for a while. Not have access to the internet. Get fed up with it. Even all ops. Joshua says, "Shalom, y'all love you. Even the ops." Yeah, well, I'm not crazy about the ops. Let me tell you, what's going on here is crazy nutso. I can't even blame my neighbors for what's going on here. Well, I can still blame them some of the time. But no, what's going on here is it's too sophisticated for the neighbors. Hi, SDL. Welcome. So at some point, I'm going to read a book that I received as a gift. I read a little bit of it. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, and I read some of it on the channel. Hi, Just Me, welcome. The Wickedness of the Wicked, exposed and defeated, how God turns the wicked's schemes into your testimony and subdues satanic authorities that war against your destiny. So I'm going to read a little bit of this in a while. But I received a really interesting comment on, let's see, it was the video where I was talking about the comments that you left on my previous videos. Let's see, I heard she was cared for by the Shabbat Lubavitch and died peacefully. I typed her into a search engine and it popped up. Oh, it did. Are you referring to Janet? Tina has not moved from Georgia. No, she's having the same difficulty I am. Like, Tina has responsibility for her mom. I think her mom is living in close proximity. But no, Tina's having the same difficulties there. The real estate mobbing, the harassment, the vandalism. Tina's in the process of moving. In her last video, she said that like somebody had made an offer, but it was bogus or something like that, and that is definitely something that happens to targeted people. So I don't know what has happened since then. Yes, her situation has very much been parallel to mine since I was in New Jersey. I mean, I've reached out to her a couple of times, but she's never responded like to connect. So she's left a couple of messages, from time to time on videos and stuff. Janet interviews towards the end. I know. I miss my Muffy Puffy. And the worst part about it is I lost two hens in that coop, and all of the hens in that coop are old. They're old girls. They're like 5.5 and 5.5 years old. They're like, so they're all buddies. They've been together for a long time, and now there's only one of those three hens left. And I look in the coop this morning, and Creamy's there, and there's no Muffy Puffy. It was just sad. Yes, Tina is in Georgia. No. She's in Georgia. No, she's not been in California. You try to. Her interviews were filled with disturbance in her last year. She was heavily. Uh, Janet, yes, absolutely. No, I was in contact with her on another email address. The last communications I had with her, she was looking for some well-known medical professional that could help her with her situation there. And she told me the people that she had contacted already that were not helpful to her. And I had given her the name of one other person. She said she was going to reach out to that person. And that was the last time I heard from her. And I didn't see any other posts from her. I know, my Muffy Puffy. Yeah. Yes, Tina P. Yes, she's in Georgia. Janet Phelan. We're talking about Janet Phelan, Phelan. She was living in Mexico. She's a journalist. Her father was a journalist, and she was having a lot of medical issues. That's what I heard. Somebody, a subscriber, told me that she heard that she passed away. So then I reached out to Max Williams, who says he hadn't heard about that. And then I reached out to Derek Robinson, who said, yes, it just happened, but we don't have a lot of details on it. And that's the last I heard. So, like, I was looking in his newsletter to see if it was posted there because sometimes, the passing of a targeted person will show up in somebody's newsletter, but I have not seen it. I looked online for an obituary. I didn't find one, at least last week. I haven't looked since. And there are a lot of people with her same exact name. So, Janet Phelan, I believe she was in her 70s. Hi, Kurek from Poland. Hi. It's 3:20 a.m. there. Wow, you're up early or late. Welcome. You're finishing sawing your RF curtains. Well, that's a good thing to do. If they work for you, send me an email and tell me exactly what you did. Not here because the criminals are listening. We don't want to give them the heads up on what works, right? Well, I can tell you what doesn't work for me since I've spent so much money on stuff. Oh my goodness. Kevlar does not work. Radiation apron is so heavy, and while you're sleeping, it falls off. It's just too heavy. It slides right off. It falls right on the ground. Yes, I usually comment on David's videos. We try to support each other. Hi, Elsie. Welcome. They keep trying to knock you out. Your eyes keep closing. That's happening. Hi, Jonathan. Same thing here. They did it to me this afternoon. Like, I'm in front of the laptop and I have things to do, and they tend to do it like after I have eaten something. I know it's like a pattern after I've eaten something, or they really like to do it when I just start to boil water on the stove, and then they'll knock me out so that all the water boils out, or it'll be hot cocoa and it'll splatter all over the stove top. Yes, same thing here. It was exactly. I woke. I came to at 3:11 p.m. and it's like, every time that happens, like I curse them. Julia says the MK Ultra was nightmarish back in the 50s. Can only imagine how truly demented it has evolved into. Well, we're experiencing it. Oh, you fought it. That was good. Well, we're experiencing MK Ultra 2.0. See, but back in the day, MK Ultra did not involve the technology assaults that we're receiving or the satanic ritual abuse, to the best of my knowledge. I mean, it's kind of off the charts what goes on here, the animal cruelty, the sickness, the psychological operations. I mean, you have to wonder, like, somebody actually gets paid to sit back and think about how to torture another person, what they can do. Oh, well, let's leave a tongue. Let's leave a tongue on her porch. Ha 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 ha. And the blood, and let's kill her chickens, and let's kill 4 kittens in a week. It's a combination of, yes, MK Ultra, COINTELPRO, Eyes Wide Shut, and Palantir pre-crime. That's a good one. Yeah, the Palantir pre-crime. Oh, and also, you might want to check it out. I don't have a link to it, but it popped up on my feed today. that there is a new video because obviously we had the equinox rituals that at Bohemian Grove, there's a new leaked video. It's a short. Yes, threats, duress, coercion, property thefts. Let's see, The Confessions of a Starseed on YouTube. She moved to the Middle East and didn't post for 5 years. Oh, she's in Egypt now. Is she a targeted person? Reltron is what they used on the Venezuela guards. You know what? I saw that somewhere. River Bluff says, my stalkers aren't that creative. They just EMF my privates and head. Yes, the Bohemian Grove. But wait a minute, there's a new leaked video because they had, they have rituals on the solstice and the equinox. That is sick. That is a very sick. Bohemian Grove is eyes wide shut. Yes. I think I saw that, con artist. I think I remember that, The Confessions of a Starseed. But I think when I saw that, I didn't know that she was a targeted person. There are a lot of people on YouTube that have channels that don't mention they're targeted. Whatever happened to Ella? You want to get me started, or you? No, it's probably not a good idea to discuss. She took down all of her videos, her website, the domain name, and got divorced and split, to the best of my knowledge. So let's see. It's getting frustrating for you to follow several people to learn who I disagree with about what our targeting is. Yes, I know. It's so difficult. And the thing is, I believe that's intentional. And also, we don't all get the same things. Hi, Megadaw. Welcome. They play hypnotic sleep frequency when the frog. Well, they target us all differently because that's why they study us all. They study us beforehand to figure out how they're going to torture us best, right? Yeah, I like Emma's channel also. I keep it. That's like on my mental list of who to contact for an interview. RF weaponry is commonly used now, as seen in Venezuela, but throughout the United States. Emma's channel is the Imagination Podcast. And she also has another one. She has two. She has two channels. Let's see. 8 hertz frequency is used when they want you to sleep. Well, I was playing like a V2. I don't get V2K, but I was playing like a V2K frequency blocker, and they still knock me out. So evidently, whatever it is they do, I don't know how to prevent it from happening yet. The only thing I realize is that it never happens, or they try to. Like if I'm standing up, it's never happened when I was standing up. Only when I'm in a relaxing state. Like if I'm sitting down. A TI Elisa E on Thursday. I have not seen that. I receive so many links from you guys, and then people that I'm already subscribed to, and then in creating my own videos, I just don't. There's not enough time in the day to watch everybody that I want to. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Yes, good point. It says that there are 32 people watching and 20 thumbs up. So I have some links that I compiled for you guys. So let's see. For you guys who are interested in Mark Rich, there is I have 3 videos. One is the psychopathic and satanic influence that I read. Intraspecies predators. Yeah, so we need to keep this information active. And then here's another in part 2. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you guys come in. And then I've got one more link here. Part 3, why it remains, what can be done. So, I've read a lot of chapters from a lot of books on the channel, and some of them I read like 2 and 3 years ago. Oh, and STL, I believe it was, sent me this article. This article is explaining brain implants that can be delivered intravenously. Yes, he did. Yes, he's got a good book. This link is so long it won't fit, unfortunately. Okay, let me see here. And then I had read from the book Forbidden Tech, Methods Used Against Targeted Individuals. So I wanted to post that here, that link here too. Pamela, it could be both, actually. It could be both. So many targeted people have mentioned having gone in for a surgical procedure and then been implanted. But you don't have to have a surgical procedure like in a hospital to be implanted. They can come into your home and do it while you're asleep. Oh, thank you, Keurig. That would be great. Yes, I have a lot of books. I mean, there's still some here that I've got stacked that I haven't looked at yet. I have to be in the mood to read some of the technical books. Hi, KG. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you here. How are you feeling? Oh, thank you, Elsie. Elsie says y'all are some of the best people I know. Yakasia was going through a hard time there. And here's on the book Forbidden Tech, there is a segment that I read about how they suppress patents. Let's see, the tech should be advanced enough by now that micro, maybe nanotech could be hidden in food. Oh, it definitely is. Oh, it absolutely is. John says, I have an implant on the back of my neck like the Matrix movies. Oh, you're still not eating? Oh, that's not good. Well, it's always difficult to keep fake targeted people out, but I almost don't care as long as they don't cause difficulty. You can usually tell when there's a perpetrator in the chat. They start spewing ridiculous information and they start asking me bizarre questions. That's usually the telltale sign when they start asking me very personal questions in the chat. Oh, and I received a link today. I'll post that. I'll post that in the chat now. It's and I watched this video. It's called Tech and Control: Unveiling the Spyware Epidemic Targeting Women. It's on YouTube. Oh, that's horrible, KG. You picked a long-term bump out of your head. Oh, goodness. Yes, the perps monitor this chat because your boss brought up something specific you talked about in the chat last Saturday. Oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, I guess so. So we're live streaming to like all of you targeted people, all of your perps are listening to the chat now. So we should make it really active. What should we discuss? Yes, they're always lurking. So let's see. The wicked, exposing the wicked and how to defeat the wicked. Oh wait, you know what? I wanted to read this other thing. Before I start reading this book, there is a comment that was left under my video um, where I was talking about your comments. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. Now this is a very long comment that was left on a recent video. This is a combo of black ops military, some intelligence agency that they do not tell the public about, guys that they give whatever identities or credentials need depending on the operation, and your highest level Freemasons. Anyone else participating, it's because they're already tricked to go after you, to put it this way. This is the same guys flying UFOs, having the regular military chasing them, convincing the public it's aliens. It is the shadow government. It's not aliens. It's not the surface level visible one. These projects, everything is disseminated so that nobody even involved knows the entirety of it. The main goal, except for maybe one or two people at the very top, This is pretty much the stuff that the public isn't supposed to know about. These art and narrative creators of the world. When a president needs to be assassinated or things like that, they pretty much use the infrastructure of the world and manipulate it to turn it against the targets. It's a secret program. That's a part of the infrastructure. And some of us were born into it. Some of us were already born on the list. The first time they ever used artificial telepathy on me, not me, but the person writing this comment, I was only 3 years old. And that was the first time that I was ever wrongfully accused for something as well. My mom had the cops knocking on her door claiming that I did something I didn't do. I was only 3 years old. That's why there are many aspects to this, from military black ops to what appears to be intelligence operations to what appears to be secret societies. And that's why some targets start attacking the FBI and things like that. And I try to explain to people these are the people who tricked the FBI. It's not them. They also, a lot of times, make regular military guys targets. And that's why it's so hard to figure this all out, because it's run by a secret segment of the military. You hear that? The whole program is run by a secret segment of the military, an intelligence agency that the public has never heard of, and your highest level Freemasons act out their rituals through these operations on people. And guess who else mentioned this? Kay Griggs, the ex military wife. She spoke all about this. The Black Ops military. It is a covert program. There are even the regular people involved in it. They only keep them on a need to know basis. That's why all the world narratives and the biggest conspiracies you ever heard of stem from this. People who are just the gang, the smear campaigns or harassment, that's just the beginning. That's just them prepping you for if they ever want to use you in a narrative or make you a patsy or get things of that nature. So those people, they're still in the safe zone. Currently on me, meaning him, they're running the big operation where everything went from covert to overt and I'm in danger. Different things. Because pretty much I've been using currently they're running a big operation where everything went from covert. I'm in danger because pretty much they've been using a look-alike of me, a cloning of my SIM card and infiltrating the look-alike to trick my friends and family. Different things, because with me, I've already been approached by these so-called men in black type agents. And they told me that the final goal for me is that they're going to replace me with a look-alike for a certain period of time, because they're going to make me disappear without anyone asking any questions. So they're going to use a look-alike to exit me out of everybody's life. So I guess you can call it a street for performance, because they're testing to see if they can make somebody disappear without anybody ever reporting it. And they did it this way because they couldn't run the typical patsy operation on me or other things, because I started learning too much and knowing too much because of how young I was when I was targeted. After the incident when I was 3, I was kidnapped at the age of 5. While somehow they kept my parents asleep, they brought us to some Masonic lodge, me and my sister. I remember waking up in the truck. I looked to the left and my sister's crying and she says, Jay, I don't know what's going on. I think we were kidnapped. As soon as we stop somewhere, I'm going to try to run to lady in the store, the front passenger seat. Turns around and says to us, children are to be seen and not heard. They brought us to the basement. of some Masonic lodge in the East Orange, New Jersey, like around the Oranges. And I know that because my family used to take that highway when we were going down to the shore. They did some type of ritual on us, and I woke up in my bed the next morning. I only regained that memory when I hit 30 years old and I started deprogramming. Imagine it took 25 years to remember this memory. And that's why they didn't run the typical patsy operation on me. So I will finish this in a minute. I just want to see what you guys are saying in the live stream. Let's see, quantum computers in its infancy. It's only getting started in terms of computer. They like to throw commercials into, to humiliate you. Classic narcissistic bullying. Not that being overweight is a crime, but I work really hard to stay fit and honest. I'm not a pushover. They probably isolate us too, so we're out of sight, out of mind. It would be a good idea to write a book. Yes. You could do self-publish or even it doesn't have to be a long book. Yes, seen and not heard. Gen X had that phrase pounded into our heads. That's exactly right. Children should be seen and not heard. That would never have worked when I was raising my daughter. Let's see, neighbor across the street now has a jacket just like you have. My sunglasses were stolen and my winter hat is missing. Oh no. KG has videos of drones following her and attacking her in Arkansas. The YouTube ads are graphic and pornographic? I hope not. Drone jamming equipment is illegal. Nick says, oh, hi, Nick, welcome. I'd write a book, only they'd steal it. I've never seen any pornographic ads on YouTube, but I have seen some pornographic ads on Facebook and on Quora. Well, not really pornographic, just like a little over sexualized. Yeah, I haven't checked my email yet, Keurig. I will. Commercials on YouTube, smart TV. Oh, okay. I don't get those kind of ads. I get cosmetic ads and stupid game ads. Bras. I see. Oh, it's a lot of ones. Women's bras. Yes, your YouTube feed is littered with that crap. Oh, you do? You have screenshots. So I will finish reading this comment from this subscriber. Let's see. So when I hit about 30 years old, I started deprogramming, and that's why they didn't run the typical patsy operation on me. Because I started deprogramming and remembering things, and apparently I know too much, it would be too big of a cover-up to run a patsy-type operation or other things like they usually do, because I would be able to articulate what happened to the regular police. So I thought that was interesting. That it's the Black Ops military, some intelligence agency that they do not tell the public about. Okay, let me see. I'm opening up my mail. I'm looking at your curtains. You let me know if that works. So Oh, is this in your bathroom? The RF curtains? Oh, you see similar on Amazon. Okay. I'll post a link here. These RF curtains. And then here's another one. Yeah, you needed to do it on the windows. I have just regular blackout curtains on my windows to keep the light out. Julia says, there is a whole world of evil that I'm just starting to learn about, but I'm also making mental connections about events that happened in the past. The same here. Nick says his neighbor keeps parking his truck directly in front of your house. How do are the earplugs working for you? I was using earplugs in New Jersey, and just for some reason, I just never used them here. Music, yes, yes. Parasites run when you sing Enjoy and Good Vibes music. Parasites run. Oh, concert earplugs. One with a protruding circle of copper. Oh, okay. I'll have to look for those. I wonder if it helps to prevent them from knocking you out. You keep praying that all the darkness brought to light. Yes, I hear you. So now I'm going to go to the book, The Wickedness of the Wicked Exposed and Defeated. How God turns the wicked schemes into your testimony and subdues satanic authorities at war against your destiny. Yes, we do. We have to enjoy the small moments when we get them. Double hearing. When you were living in the village, you made a studio Faraday cage, heavy metal isolated. You know, there are these panels, these peel and stick panels that you can peel and stick on walls or anything else. A lot of times they're used in a music studio to prevent like the sound reverberating in a room, and you can find them on Amazon. Let's see. I have them underneath my refrigerator. Everyone pray for the evil to be exposed. Well, let's see what's in this book that I can read that helps, that will help. Exposing the Strategies of the Wicked, Chapter 4. The Strategy of Delay, Withholding Destinies. The wicked do not always seek to kill. Sometimes they simply aim to delay because a delayed destiny can be as destructive as a destroyed one. Oh, that's what they're doing here in Jackson County, Kentucky. I placed my house on the market in 2023 and they prevented it in 23 and 24 and 25. But I'm moving this year. Delay is a strategy weapon wielded by dark forces to frustrate divine timing, derail divine appointments, and exhaust the believer. When your destiny is suspended in a web of spiritual manipulation, you may survive, but you won't thrive. Yes, why kill? No more gift cards. Yeah. The power of time in the realm of purpose. Time is not just a measurement in the natural world. In the spirit, time is a container or of purpose. Every season is pregnant with divine assignment. Satan understands that, and if he cannot destroy your calling, he can still frustrate its timing. When Joseph was thrown into prison, he was not merely in physical confinement, it was an attempt to delay the manifestation of his dreams. Delay does not only waste time, it aborts momentum and attempts to disconnect you from your kairos moment. And that's what they do when they knock you out with radio frequencies. They're not only stealing your time, but they're stealing the momentum. The wicked launch delays not only to stop you outright, but to make you miss windows of divine visitation. That's exactly right. That's right. The demonic architecture behind delay. Delays are not always circumstantial. Often they're engineered. In the invisible corridors of darkness, wicked agents consult demonic calendars and initiate strategic spiritual embargoes against individuals, families, ministries, and nations. These embargoes function like spiritual traffic lights, turning red whenever a person is about to advance. Invisible roadblocks are erected in the form of unexplained obstacles, repeated failures, and chronic stagnation. Behind the scenes may lie satanic altars, ancestral covenants, or word curses that were spoken in ignorance but activated in hell's courtroom. Yes, there are definitely hints in past movies like They Live, Eyes Wide Shut, Alien franchise. Yes, so many. Satan's been trying to take you out since the beginning. When a delay is in operation, the signs are clear: repeated near successes, experiences, prolonged engagement without marriage, businesses that start but cannot cross into expansion, ministry with anointing but without a platform, or opportunities that appear but never manifest fully. These are not coincidences, they're symptoms of spiritual tampering. Spiritual delay is a weapon of mental and emotional fatigue. One of the most dangerous effects of demonic delay is emotional exhaustion. The wicked understand that when people are tired, they compromise. When hope is repeatedly deferred, it makes the heart sick. A heart that is sick loses its drive, weakens its vision, and begins to question God's promise. Satan uses delay to suggest that God is unfaithful or that the promise was a lie. He creates delays to manipulate believers into alternatives that look quicker, easier, or more logical, but are ultimately disastrous. A generational targeting is part of MK Ultra. Ugh. Well, I think that's what's going on in my family, unfortunately. He creates delays to manipulate believers into alternatives that look quicker, easier, more logical, and ultimately disastrous. When Abraham faced a delay in the manifestation of Isaac, Ishmael was born out of a moment of weariness and miscalculation. Delay can birth a counterfeit if not confronted spiritually. Biblical examples of divine destinies delayed by the wicked. Daniel prayed, and received a divine answer on the first day, but it took 21 days for the answer to manifest due to satanic interference by the Prince of Persia. This is perhaps the clearest biblical example of a strategic delay. The delay was not due to Daniel's lack of faith, but because of a spiritual battle in the second heaven. Likewise, the Israelites were destined to enter the promised land within days, yet wandered for 40 years due to rebellion, satanic manipulation, and failure to discern divine timings. Jesus himself experienced strategic delays, not a defeat, but as a lesson in the realm of divine intervention. When Lazarus died, Jesus delayed coming, but it was a divine delay that resulted in a greater testimony. Not all delays are demonic, but all demonic delays must be discerned and demolished. So let's wage war against the spirit of delay. Conquering delay requires violent prayers, deep discernment, and prophetic instruction. Warfare prayers that target the root of delay. Let me turn the page. Root of delay must include cancellation of all satanic embargoes, destruction of demonic altars, and release of divine speed, which is why I've been picking up so much bitchcraft yesterday, today. It's a bitchcraft heaven here, Jackson County, Kentucky. It's everywhere. Let's see. Oh, that's not biblically accurate. Let's see. New to the orchestrating, I thought it was just a fatherless person in a Christian society. Yeah, I had no idea it was happening globally. Yes, welcome to Club Target. Let's see. SL emailed me screenshots. I put a line across the graphic, the graphic parts. Okay, I'll check it out. Does anyone here pray in tongues? No, but I read or heard somewhere that the targeting will lessen or confuses the AI if we speak in another language or if we listen to other languages or listen to music in other languages. So I think we need to start listening to other languages and see if that works. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in, guys. Hi, very soon. Welcome. That's a disgusting advertisement. SCL. This is on YouTube? Where is this? Well, I'll take a look at these later. Oh, okay. The hats with the EMF. Let's see this. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's probably the most important thing is to get an EMF hat. You're still on the fence about tongues. I have not seen those kind of ads. I saw the report to YouTube. Yes, I saw that. I honestly, I've had you guys tell me that you see these vile advertisements on YouTube. I have never seen one like that. See, they use YouTube commercials on the big screen monitor. There's no limit now. I've never seen it. Maybe it's because I don't have TV. Do you subscribe to YouTube TV? You get a lot of gay programming commercials about prepping. It has nothing to do with me. I wonder why they keep showing that. I wonder if it has anything to do with what channels you're subscribed to. Yeah, I don't get that at all. Judy says I keep my smartphones in the fridge unless I go to work. I also pull the power to my router before I go to sleep and leave the house. See, I've never done that. Let's see, those ads are on the right hand side. Ads, not commercials. Yeah, I've seen some weird ads like that when I sign on to Facebook, and it's weird because I hardly go onto Facebook. Yes, digital devices all have back doors designed to be hacked. Hi, K Vicky. Welcome. Yeah, it is. It is surprising. Let's see, prophetic declarations like every altar speaking delay into my life catch fire, or I command divine speed over every area of my life, marriage, ministry, finances, destiny, in the name of Jesus, are powerful when backed with holy living and consistency. The anointing that breaks yokes is also the anointing that accelerates seasons. A praying believer is a moving believer, and a moving believer is a threat to the agenda of delay. Yeah, that's so interesting how you receive different advertisements. We all receive different advertisements. God promises concerning speed and restoration. Scripture is filled with assurances that delay is not the end. Joel 2:25 declares, I will restore you to the years that the locust hath eaten. Isaiah 60:22 proclaims, a little one shall become 1,000. I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time. The God of restoration is also the God of acceleration. Where delay has been inflicted by the wicked, God promises a divine payback, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Delay is a strategy of the wicked, but it is not final. It is reversible, conquerable, and punishable. When exposed, it loses its hold. When confronted, it collapses. When countered with prophetic warfare, delay is transferred into a testimony of divine speed. Let's see, Psalm 102 is your warfare go to. The Hebrews 4:12 word of God is sharper than any other second edged sword. Let's see. Yes, you have. I know. I have to. I get so busy sometimes. I don't even think about it. I actually have to listen to it on YouTube as a reminder. Let's see. Psalm 91. Whomever dwell in the shelter of Almighty. Delay is a strategy of the wicked, but it's not final. It's reversible. The enemy's most subtle and effective weapon against a believer is not always a direct attack, but diversion. Distraction is a spiritual strategy employed by the wicked to reroute destinies, delay assignments, and dry up divine passion. In spiritual warfare, understanding how distractions work and learning how to defeat them is essential to maintaining focus, finishing divine assignments, and walking in fulfilled purpose. The seduction of secondary battles. The wicked are masters of seduction through unnecessary warfare. These are battles designed not to destroy you, but to detour you. You find yourself fighting family arguments, minor offenses, fruitless debates, and repetitive emotional cycles, all the while your real assignments suffer, like not picking up my trash or leaving like weird tongues on my porch. Hi, Eden's Living. Welcome, welcome. Psalm 92, 91, 23, and Jeremiah 29:11, she says. The enemy sends these diversions to drain your spiritual energy. Like Nehemiah, many are called to build, but are summoned to the valley of Ono for discussions they have no business entertaining. Every moment you spend explaining yourself to critics is a moment lost from building your wall. The seduction is subtle, but its purpose is fatal. Misdirection. And yes, that's what narcissists do. They like to misdirect you. Steal your time, steal your energy. Send weird people to knock on your door. Delay your packages from arriving. This is definitely spiritual warfare. Listen to John Eckhart prayers that rout out demons. Been rebuking and doing warfare. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, we're all test subjects. By 2030, everybody will be targeted and scored through the social credit score unless we do not mass comply. No, we are not alone anymore. Yes, I'm not involved in any organized religion as well. There are people that are, and I respect what people's beliefs are. Kirk says I was so desperate to have at least one true person to talk to in person. Oh, it's so hard to find people in person. Joe says, not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but until this is exposed and fully acknowledged, we have no justice because their cop out is national security, which is total BS. Yeah, I know. And of course, now with the war, they're going to be renewing FISA 702. Yeah, I was raised Roman Catholic also. I tell people that I'm a recovered Roman Catholic. Yes. Yep. I remember like as a kid having to go into the confessional and you go into the confessional and as a kid, what are you telling them? Oh, like I hit my brother hit me and I hit him back, stupid stuff like that. And then the priest will say, well, okay, so now go recite two our fathers. And you have to go sit at the pew and repeat your our fathers and you're supposed to be forgiven. Okay. And meanwhile, those priests, they're hitting on the altar boys. So let's see. It wasn't raised, kept in a mason jar for many years. Yes, yeah. No, I mean, I actually went to Sunday school. I went to church every Sunday. All of those things. And then I think it was after I made my commute. No, after I made my confirmation, I just didn't go anymore. You were hated when you disagreed to pray to the Virgin Mary. Okay, so let's see what else is in this book. Satan's trap over God. One of the deadliest forms of distraction is the temptation to choose the good over the God ordained. Satan doesn't always offer sin, he often offers busyness. Believers can be trapped doing what looks noble, helpful, or logical, but is outside of divine instruction. Oh, that's what they do here in Jackson County, Kentucky. They dump cats on my property. They don't allow me to get a veterinary appointment to spay and neuter the cats, so they keep procreating. It keeps me very busy. Yes, priest loves confession. How else can they keep tabs on everybody? Exactly. That's exactly what it is. That is exactly what that is. It's kind of perverted when you think about it. When the enemy cannot make you fall, he will aim to make you busy, just not effective. That's exactly what's happening here. Digital distractions, devices of the modern wicked. Today, one of the most sophisticated tools of distraction is the digital realm. The wicked exploit the addictive architecture of technology, endless scrolling, comparison traps, and false realities to keep minds numb and spirits dull. Demonic assignments now travel through algorithms, trending content, and notifications that keep believers too distracted to pray, fast, or hear God. The enemy has evolved. The spirit of distraction now disguises itself in convenience, entertainment, and just 5 more minutes, quote unquote, that turn into hours of spiritual bankruptcy. This is no longer harmless entertainment, it's spiritual warfare on a new battlefield. I think about like what I had like it was so nice growing up in the 60s and the 70s. There was no internet. There was no internet. I had no cell phone. There was no cell phones. In order to call home, there were telephone booths on, a lot of corners, and you'd have to put money in there, or you'd put money in and reverse the charges to home so that, you'd speak to your mom and reverse the charges. Let's see, Child Protective Services traffics children. The main base is in Ohio, and then they go in every direction after that in the United States. Fasting can help reduce inflammation of the mind and body. I did an extended fast once that helped me have a spiritual experience. Absolutely, you can definitely have a spiritual experience when you stop eating for more than 3 days. The internet destroyed everything. The 90s in Poland, where you grew up. Yes. Um, part of my family is Polish, by the way, on my mom's side. Never had any respect for authorities. Let's see. Yeah, on my mom's side, half of my family is Russian, and the other half is Polish. And on my father's side, it's all Italian. And my brother tells me that like most people hated the Italians. I did not know that. Targeted the Italians. Okay, so let's see. I have impression that The U.S. strongly work on targeting with our government. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, yep. That yes, yep, yep. Combating distraction through focused warfare. The antidote to distraction is intentional focus fortified by spiritual discipline. Focus is not merely mental, it is a spiritual weapon. Isaiah 57 says, I have set my face like a flint. This is the posture required to overcome distraction. You must build spiritual gates around your time, your thoughts, or your daily routines. And I am so guilty of scrolling because I love to watch music videos. Like I will sit and watch like AGT, um, America's Got Talent, and all the singers, etc. Animal rescue videos. It's ridiculous. Let's see. We used to play outside and came in when the street lights came on and used our imaginations and remembered everyone's phone. Yes, we did remember everybody's phone number. Isn't that crazy? Yes. Yes, I stayed. Yes, we stayed out all night. We played ball. We played jump rope. We invented games. We went to the park. We walked. I used to make a lot of my own clothing. Oh, the Polish heroes. Let's see. Ton of respect for the Polish people. Yes, before we gave up our landline phones, great trick to corral us into cellular devices. I remember when I got my first cell phone. It was like one of those flip phones. And then I had a BlackBerry. And then I advanced to the iPhone. Let's see, now with AI, everybody become complacent and do not research anymore. Well, you know what? That's the one thing about being in school for long periods of time is you don't have a choice. You have to perform research. And when I was in school, like undergraduate and graduate school, there was no chat GPT. Like I'm almost, what is that? Hints 57? Oh, Heinz 57. Yes, I had a BlackBerry. It was a good phone. Like whatever. I mean, why did that disappear? Yes, I had given up my BlackBerry for an iPhone. That was the end of it. They stole your glasses today? Yes, that they have a thing with stealing glasses, prescription glasses, sunglasses. When I moved here, I had 3 pair of prescription sunglasses. They were all stolen. My sunglasses were stolen. Yeah, smartphones allow others to track your location at all times. Yes. Hi, Cav Scout. Welcome. Oh goodness, it's a lot of money. Glasses are expensive. River Bluff gets at least a pair of boxers stolen per month. Oh my god, somebody is like sexually perverted out there, right? Oh my goodness. You must build spiritual gates around your time, your thoughts, and your daily routines. Engage in targeted prayers to shut down every satanic attempt to lure you into diversions. Declare war against emotional entanglements and obligations God did not assign. Fast for clarity. Cancel every engagement, conversation, and connection that does not feed your assignment. Refuse to fight unauthorized battles. Victory through ruthless focus is what terrifies the wicked. They know a focused believer is an unstoppable weapon. Distraction is not a weakness, it's an assignment, and it must be answered with fire, discernment, and warfare precision. You are not just defending your mind, you're preserving your mandate. They stole your cloth G-string. Oh my god, they steal your underwear too. Like everybody's complaining their underwear is getting stolen. Yes, they're trying to create a cat colony on my property. Yes. You have seen your share of gang stalkers do this on property. Well, when I move, they won't all be coming with me because they're not mine. And I only have so many pet carriers. And since they've destroyed at least 2 pet carriers, I won't be buying any more. SCL says, I don't get my underwear stolen, but each pair. Yes, that's what I have. I get holes in mine. I stopped buying panties with lace because they tear the lace off of it. Or if there's a little bow on it, they'll tear the bow off of it. So now I just get like a plain Jane panties, and now they puncture holes in them. Pamela says maybe they're selling our underwear. Yeah, on the dark web. I mean, it's not even funny. It's sick. It's very sick, right? Oh goodness. Let's see. It goes on to say deception often masquerades as wisdom. It appears as alternative truth. It offers counterfeit solutions and appeals to pride and self-reliance. A deceived person doesn't know they're deceived. That's the potency of this strategy. It takes the light of the Holy Spirit and immersion of the Word of God to expose the darkness within deception. Spiritual deception also includes false prophets, counterfeit miracles, demonic dreams, and lying spirits. These are not myths, but active realities. The greatest weapon against manipulation and deception is spiritual discernment. Discernment is not suspicion, it is the supernatural ability to perceive the true nature of a person, a word, a spirit, or environment. 1 Corinthians 12:10. You defeat manipulation when you stop responding emotionally and start responding spiritually. A prayer believer filled with the Holy Ghost is anchored in Scripture, is the enemy's worst nightmare. Fasting, persistent prayer, and soaking in God's presence expose and break the power of controlling spirits. Decrees based on truth cut through the fog of deception. The sword of the Spirit, God's word, is the ultimate weapon to dismantle demonic logic. Another vital weapon is renunciation. You must verbally and spiritually renounce every agreement, every lie, every emotional bond that manipulation and deception established in your life. Declare freedom over your mind, emotions, and will. Ask the Lord to break every soul tie to manipulative people or deceptive ideologies. The wicked hate exposure. Once deception is unmasked, its power is destroyed. When manipulation is discerned, its control is broken. The voice of the Lord always brings clarity, not confusion. It brings truth, not pressure. It brings peace, not control. Underwear sniffers is another level of dirty, creepy. Cochino behavior. On a serious note, you know how they test our body fluids. They also use it in hexes. I would be better if my stalkers were attractive ladies and not so much creepy old dudes. Oh, well, I've said it before. Like, there is never going to be a honeypot around here in Jackson County, Kentucky, because there just isn't any. So instead of the honeypots, they leave me cats. That's it. They leave me cats. Cats are the honeypots. Like, how can you? I mean, except I have one cat. I've named him Mr. Balls. Why is he Mr. Balls? He's not neutered. He's got balls, and he's very aggressive with the other cats around here. Elsie says, "Perps that chew underwear are the worst." Carol says, "I'm sure there's an Appalachian dating app." Oh yes, SDL. Yes, 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 yes. They love their poop. I've said it before. They love their poop, and they actually eat poop. That's how they're so disgusting. They are disgusting. Well, it's been on other YouTube channels that they do actually eat poop. That is so gross. Julie says, Appalachian dating app, sign me up. Yes, the poopy nurse. Yes, yes. Yes, well, they love their poop. They do love their poop. Actually, that is another one. My acronyms, the POPs, the Predators on Patrol, right? The Predators on Patrol, the pedos on patrol, and now we could say the poopy nurse on patrol, the perverts on patrol, the pee patrol, because they do like to urinate on things too. So it's the pee patrol. Let's see. You have to watch the poop smear people on Soft White Underbelly this week. Oh, really? Oh, I'm gonna have to watch that. He's got some great people on his channel. They may be wearing our underwear dancing in front of full body mirrors like a psychopath. Anyone else have advertising interrupting this live? Yes. Actually, what is it? We an hour? Yes, an hour in, there are advertisements. Joe says, pray over our underwear for real. That karma is carried out immediately for stealing something so intimate. That's a good point. You can tell in his voice when he's interviewing. He's so politically correct. And I have to ask you guys because nobody's mentioned it. I don't even know if I should mention it. Otherwise, it might interfere. Is the creepy voice in the background? Nobody's mentioned it yet. Yes, I've been subscribed to the Soft White Underbelly, but his most of his videos are at least 50 minutes or longer, and I don't always have time. Oh, you heard Creepy once? Maybe Creepy's on vacation finally. Either that or Creepy's not being paid anymore. Yes, you don't even hear it. Creepy comes and goes. Showed up early on and then chilled out. Okay, well, that's good. Okay, that's good. Maybe the topic of conversation has prevented the creepy from chiming in. Creepy is lazy. The wicked hate exposure. Once deception is unmasked, its power is destroyed. When manipulation is discerned, its control is broken. The voice of the Lord always brings clarity, not confusion. It brings truth, not pressure. It brings peace, not control. In his hour, God is raising a remnant with eyes like eagles, hearts trained in righteousness, and spirits that cannot be manipulated. These warriors are immune to flattery, resistant to control, and lovers of truth. Like the narcissism. The narcissists come and they try to like honey trap you. I think we hit a nerve and put the spotlight on creepy. When you step away and it's silent for a while, that's when creepy really seems to be pronounced. Oh, okay. Nobody's mentioned it. I wasn't sure if I should even bring it up. Financial attacks and invisible leaks. The battle over financial stability is not always economic, it's often spiritual. Many believers find themselves working tirelessly and having little to show for it. They experience cycles of sudden luck, inexplicable debts, mismanagement, and recurring crises that swallow resources. I found that that's what they do. It's like if you earn $100, they're going to find something that's going to cost you $100 regardless. They did this when I lived in New Jersey. I would start to make a little bit of money, and then they would do something horrible to a cat before I knew what was really going on. Bring my cat to the vet, and before you know it, I'm spending hundreds, maybe even up to $1,000, which I did like on my cat Trouble. I spent so much money on him, and I had no idea that he was being targeted. Yes, creepy sounds like a predator without the knocking. Yeah, creepy is either an AI bot or human or inhuman or both. He does satanic intonations. Well, it's really interesting because on Lookout for Charlie, and I'm going to say I know this was months ago. He did a video, and the video recording sounded a lot like the creepy voice. A lot like the creepy. Pamela says, creepy does not have teeth. No joke, this program has stolen from me, tortured me, isolated me, and taken very precious things from me, but my spirits keep going somehow. Same here, guys. I can't even tell you how many cats they have killed. And it sounds incredible, like if I were to tell you how many cats they've killed, but yet I still have a lot of cats because cats keep coming onto the property, like this Mr. Balls. I've named him Mr. Balls, and he keeps knocking up other cats. And then a popcorn, oh, I think it was the end of last year, it was going into the winter. Popcorn shows up with a woman, with a female cat. I don't know where he found this cat. And then trailing behind her were 3 kittens. And it's like, oh no. So, yeah, so I've got Popcorn. I call Popcorn's wife and his 3 kittens, which are now like, I'm going to say they're like 9 months old. Let's see, what do I think? What do I think about the pet microchip company that went out of business, thus offering no way to claim your pet yet still has a microchip in it? Okay. Well, um, what's happening with the microchips back then is that people didn't realize that once you microchipped your pet, you had to renew that microchip and pay a fee. And it was no small fee. It wasn't like a $5. Would be like $30. And I had so many cats and I was renewing all these microchips. I finally stopped. You want to know why also? Well, just because your cat has a microchip and it gets lost, it doesn't mean that somebody else is not going to re-chip that cat. That cat could have 2 or even 3 chips in it. You will never find that cat again. Unless that cat gets to a veterinarian that can scan it or an ASPCA that has a scanner. How are you going to find that cat with a microchip unless you can scan for a chip? It's impossible. Or your cat came chipped. Well, unfortunately, I chipped a lot of my cats in New Jersey. But first of all, those chips can cause problems for the cat. They can be manipulated by an outside person. I would not microchip a cat anymore. But the reason I think that a reason a lot of those microchip companies went out of business is people were not paying them to renew and maybe even suing them. Let's see, it's a lonely path, SEL. Just remember, a few are chosen. I know how painful it is. It used to be close to family, alienated, and betrayed by the ultimate slap across. That is the ultimate slap across the face, yes. And also long term friends. And you are not alone. This is happening to so many people. Well, that's a good point, KG. They quit shipping because they don't need it any longer. That's a very good point because with graphene oxide, with things that are in the pet food, with things that are in the air, they can target anybody's pet. It's all remote. They just like like we're tortured. Yes, most of us do have chips. Yes, normal people who are not TIs will never understand until it happens to them. Well, you know what? Even if it happens to them, they may not believe it because I see YouTube creators. I know that they're targeted, and if you try to mention it to them, totally ignore it. Hi, Joey. Welcome. You also saw one of, let's see, one of your targeters in a scooter before seeing that girl across the street. Well, when I lived in New Jersey, Steve Sarantino, one of my stalkers that would hide out in the shrubs and mimic me, his two daughters would ride a like a motorized scooter, but they wouldn't do it on their driveway. They would use their motorized scooter on my former driveway. Well, you must be in a more heavily populated area if you've got flock cameras everywhere. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. If you think that somebody drank or ate from your food, throw it away. Oh, and I also want to mention something else that they do. If you ever purchase jars of food, I mean, the way I do, most jars of food are vacuum sealed. And on the very top of the jar, there's a little round circle. It's called a button. That button should be depressed. And I always make sure that when I order food, that when the glass jars arrive, that the button is depressed. And I store it that way. Well, lo and behold, I had two jars on my counter and they undepressed the button. So I don't know if they went into the jar. So I will not be eating that food. Let's see. Your sister was targeted, never knew it. It was awful. Yes. Too many are taking notes. Too many things at stake and not enough money for another beer. I hear you. I hear you, Joey. You just has videos of drones following back and forth and up and down the streets. Well, that's crazy. Yet nothing surprises me anymore either. They changed out your yogurt for outdated ones. You buy good vegetables and they changed them for old ones. I believe that. They really like tampering with food. That's exactly what happens to me, River Bluff. They have ruined like avocados. Like I buy avocados and they usually show up, they're hard. So I keep them out on the counter for a couple of days until they soften it up enough to stick them in the fridge. Then when I cut them open, they're rotted on the inside. So that's what they do. They can automatically rot or mold your food. Oh, and also, let's see if I still have it. Yes, I want to post this link in the chat here. Um, I haven't purchased it yet. This is a mold test. And also, I want to post a link. I was doing some research, and of course, they knocked me out. This is the legal consequences for homeowners of phrogging, Phrogging. And this was December 14, 2025. Phrogging refers to the act of secretly living in someone else's residence, often without permission or knowledge. This behavior ranges from brief trespasses to sustained occupation, sometimes involving manipulation of utilities, altering mail, or evading discovery. As awareness grows, so do discussions about the legal consequences and protections for property owners. And this article explains what phrogging is, how it differs from related crimes, and the potential criminal and civil penalties that apply under U.S. law. So I'm going to post this link. Oh, the creepy voice is back? Oh, well. Hi, Ultimate Entertainment Agency. Welcome, welcome. If a person on the street is doing to you, then you could legally confront them and defend yourself, since it's a crime called menacing. Yes, that is a crime. Menacing is a crime. Yes, when we use the correct terminology, yes. Let's see, Joe says, I think the E. coli comes from spraying plants with non-potable water that probably has human waste in it. That is very possible. T. Tijin says, I would make my ceiling Swiss cheese if I heard somebody up there. And that's actually what happened to Joy Devi when she had that frogger in her house. That's exactly what she did to the door that she had to repair before her father returned home. Says frogging is a covert occupancy of another person's dwelling or space without authorization. Perpetrators may enter a home by exploiting unsecured access points, exploit trusted relationships, exploit weak boundaries in short term rental situations. So, this happens in rentals also. The intent can vary from distress or manipulation to theft or harassment. For homeowners, the recognized signs are unexpected visits, unfamiliar mail, altered utilities, suspicious noises. They can aid in early intervention and legal action. Frogging overlaps with several crimes but remains distinct in key ways. It involves ongoing occupancy rather than a single trespass incident. It can combine elements of trespass, burglary by breaking and entering, invasion of privacy, or harassment, depending on the actions taken. And in some cases, frogging may be charged as criminal trespass, breaking and entering, home invasion, or criminal mischief when civil claims might involve wrongful occupancy or property damage. And I have froggers on my property. Criminal charges and penalties depend on jurisdiction and the specifics of the conduct. There's criminal trespassing, burglary or breaking and entering, home invasion, theft, or fraud related charges. It may include identity theft, fraudulent schemes, harassment or stalking. Unwanted contact or surveillance may result in protective orders or criminal penalties. Well, that's not happening for targeted people for the most part. My rooster is crying, screaming right now. Let's see what you guys are saying. I literally had somebody in the maintenance access above my apartment. They got through a scuttle hole outside. I threw a roach spray fogger up there and locked the hole and could hear them. Oh, wow. Well, that's good for you. Yes, remember to hit the thumbs up, everybody. Hi, Mats and Miles. Welcome. Yeah, it's the chicken coop in back of me. Well, we're going to be signing off in about 10 minutes because it's 11:50 p.m. right now here, Eastern time. Sometimes, like the roosters in back here, they're in that coop with two guineas. Sometimes the guineas harass them, but sometimes there's a raccoon. I've seen raccoons like going around. They can't get in that building, but they may hear something outside, or it could be a perpetrator harassing them. Could be radio frequencies on their metal roof. Some lady on the news literally fell through the ceiling into her living room, got on the news. Well, that's interesting. Your sister-in-law got a roach fogger in her apartment and had to go to the hospital. Oof. Oh my. It did go by quickly tonight, Julius. It did go quickly tonight. So yeah, so we've got a crescent moon. It's expanding. It's increasing in light. Let's see. They Jimmy open the mailbox, steam our letters open, and steal. Yes, they do that. Lorraine, do the gangsters ever shoot inaudible sound waves at your pets to mess? Yes, yes, they absolutely do. I've witnessed it. I've witnessed them harassing my cats while they're eating or directly after they're eating to cause them to vomit. Yet time is definitely being manipulated. Yes, did you see that? Hi, Fred. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Jim Jordan has been mentally swapped from opposing FISA to wanting FISA 702. I know. I know. I posted that on a post on the community page. Ugh. Yes. Time is definitely speeding up. So I see that there are 35 thumbs up and 47 people listening. Good night, SDL. And thank you for the screenshots. Matson, is there anything else going on at your house? I mean, poor Matson, like he's built his house from the bottom up, and like they have done some bizarre stuff to his house. Yeah, Joshua says, look in the eyes. There are all of one mind. Lurkers in the background. Yeah, oh, definitely lurkers on the background. Hi, Mrs. Matson. Yes. Oh, they're definitely lurkers. Like, I'm sure some of those are my neighbors. And then I've got a cyber stalker who I believe is paid to harass me. But we just ignore them because what it is that is a spiritual distraction. The spirit realm recognizes wealth as a weapon. Wealth is not just currency, it's an influence, access, and kingdom mobility. This is why the enemy wages war against the finances of God's people. Financial bondage makes prayer burdensome, service to God difficult, and obedience to divine instructions harder. The enemy understands that if he can drain your financial lifeline, he can paralyze your spiritual progress. Spiritual warfare in this dimension requires believers to view their finances not as a personal luxury, but as divine instruments under threat. Good night, KG. Whoever's leaving the chat, good night. Thank you for joining in. Play annoying songs on YouTube and loop and force your gang stalkers to hack you to listen to them. It drives them nuts, and you can tell it in their eyes when they see you. Oh, well, wait a minute. Somebody on Quora said to play the song, the lamb chop song. This is a song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Well, if you go on YouTube and look for that song, somebody actually created one that plays for 24, like 8 hours or 24 hours or whatever. So you're gonna actually play that song indefinitely. And then there's another Blue Scale is created a live stream V2K blocker. It's called something like Seraphim. And that I think it's 24 hours long. So you can play that. And it doesn't have any advertisements. Use headphones. These criminals have done something to my left ear. It's swollen. There's definitely something in the ear that they've implanted. I feel it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kurek. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. Let's see. River Bluff, I would agree that they shapeshift. They do. They become little worms, mice, and any size human that they want, as far as I've seen. But to top it all, they're invisible. Yes, absolutely. Oh, but they show up on the cameras every once in a while. And that's another reason why they've destroyed so many of my motion sensor lights. Because when those turn on, it's because there's something in its path. If it's not a raccoon, if it's not a possum, if it's not a cat, if it's not a deer, it's a cloaked person. So don't worry, perps that are all listening. I bought new motion sensor lights. I just have not had the time to get out my very tall ladder and hammer them into the trees. So yes, motion sensor lights are their enemy. So we've got to post more. It gets so tiresome having to do the same stuff over and over again. You have no idea how many lights I have purchased since I'm living here. It's like ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And forget about panties. I mean, I can just pull up, my past purchase history on Amazon and eBay, and it's just absurd. So, but thank you everybody for joining in. We're going to be closing off the chat. Anybody that has not hit the thumbs up, please remember to do so. Yes, so let's see. When a frogger was in your stealing, the gangstalkers would sing songs. The gangstalkers would sing songs out loud to your dog. Oh my goodness, over and over, making insulting lyrics when you're out in public and saw them would sing the same. Oh, how ridiculous. That is just crazy. Those poor animals. Thank you so much, con artists, and good night, everybody. Thank you all for the good wishes, for joining in, for all the wisdom. Beware, Lorraine, the gangsters will replace some of the solar lights with ones that have micro cams in it. Oh, really? Okay. Thank you for the beware. Thank you. Hi, Annie. Welcome. In case I didn't see you before. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Don't forget the Edward Kill Trololo song. The dog loves the gang stalkers, hate the songs. Everyone stay safe and healthy. Yes, hi, Monaghan. Got here late. Love you, Lorraine. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. I'm tired. I've had a rough week, let me tell you. Yes, and blessings to all the targeted individuals. You are not alone. Anybody who needs to email me, it's alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. Anybody that wants to share a testimony, you can email me again. I have one testimony next week that will be a phone conversation. And I'm going to sign off, guys. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for all the prayers. Prayers to everybody. Stay strong, everybody. You are not alone. And it doesn't matter what Jim Jordan does, you know. If FISA 702 is renewed, which it most likely will, we'll just keep exposing what we're doing, exposing how it's not working. So, anyway, well, stay strong, everybody. You never know. Something positive can come out of all of this. So I'm going to exit now. I'm going to end the live stream. Good night, everybody.